Chapter 4564. Lu Ming used the Great Concealment technique and hid in the dark to observe. Sure enough, a few hours later, Lu Ming found an opportunity. A burly human left the mine as if he was going to do something. Soon, he left the range of the heavenly human tribe's spiritual sense. Swoosh! Lu Ming rushed out and struck the back of the burly man's head with his palm. Lu Ming controlled his strength very well. He only knocked the burly man unconscious and did not kill him. Lu Ming was also a principled person. The other party had no enmity with him, so he naturally would not kill him easily. Then, he waved his hand and sent the burly man into the chaos ring. Then, he used the great imitation technique and transformed into the burly man's appearance. Even his life origin aura was exactly the same. Lu Ming was not in a hurry to return to the mine. If the burly man returned as soon as he left the mine, he was afraid that it would arouse the heavenly human tribe's suspicion. Lu Ming waited nearby for a few hours and then swaggered toward the mine. When he approached the mine, the heavenly human tribe's spiritual sense swept over and circled him once before retracting. Naturally, they did not find any flaws. Lu Ming continued to walk forward as if nothing had happened and arrived at the mine. This area was full of potholes, and each mine was emitting a hazy light. Many people were going in and out, busy. Lu Ming randomly chose a mine and walked in. In the depths of the mine, he found a large number of humans mining and refining the metal in the ore. It's icy firestar silver. It's actually icy firestar silver. After Lu Ming carefully identified the metal ore, Lu Ming's heart shook violently. He was somewhat in disbelief. The metal contained in the ore here was actually icy firestar silver. Previously, Cho had mentioned icy firestar silver in detail. When refining a source-level divine weapon, if icy firestar silver was added, the success rate would be greatly increased. It could increase the success rate of refining a source-level divine weapon to 20%. This was because the ice firestar silver could perfectly harmonize all kinds of materials, allowing them to fuse together perfectly, greatly reducing the difficulty of forging a soul-grade weapon. As for Cho, because it had eaten too many original weapons and main weapons, it had produced a lot of impurities. It was stuck at the top of the 9th Great Supreme God layer. It would take tens of thousands of years to break through to the next level. However, if he had enough ice firestar silver, he could quickly refine the impurities and evolve again. It was truly a case of wearing out iron shoes in a fruitless search, only to find it by chance without any effort. Eat, I want to eat. Cho was so excited that he kept sending voice transmissions to Lu Ming. No rush, no rush. Let's observe for a while first. It won't be too late to make a move later, Lu Ming said. Only then did Cho calm down. No, at this moment, Lu Ming suddenly felt a piercing pain on his skin, as if it was being cut by countless blades. Ouch, it hurts. Lu Ming, there's something wrong with the lighting here. Cho also began to shout. Of course, they were all transmitting their voices through their souls and not through their voices. That's right, the lighting here. Lu Ming also noticed it. The mine was filled with hazy light. This kind of light shone on him and had a terrifying attacking power. It was going to destroy him completely. Cho, go into the ancient desolation ring first. Lu Ming thought. Cho disappeared from his wrist and went into the ancient desolation ring without anyone noticing. Lu Ming circulated the forbidden energy and covered his body. Only then did he feel better. However, Lu Ming realized that this kind of light was still attacking the forbidden energy. The forbidden energy didn't completely block it, but was constantly consuming it. If this continued, the forbidden energy would be pierced through sooner or later. What kind of energy is this? It's so terrifying. No, why are these people fine? Lu Ming discovered that the people who were mining here were completely fine. They seemed to be exactly the same as they were in other places. What's going on? This kind of light won't attack them? Lu Ming thought quickly, but he didn't show it on his face. He went to another mine and found that the situation was the same. All the mines had this kind of light. The light wasn't dazzling, but its power was terrifying. In just a short while, a third of Lu Ming's forbidden energy was consumed. This speed was simply astonishing. It gave people the feeling that this kind of light was even more terrifying than the black mist that invaded Lu Ming's body. The black mist didn't consume the forbidden energy at such a fast speed. What are you doing? Hurry up and get to work. Dawdling here is disrespectful to the gods. If the gods are angry and send down divine punishment, no one can save you. At this moment, a loud shout was heard. A burly man walked over and glared at Lu Ming. He was holding a leather whip in his hand. This burly man was also a human. He seemed to be the manager here. Yes, yes. Lu Ming nodded repeatedly and pretended to go to the side to work. After the manager left, Lu Ming's figure flashed and also left. Lu Ming heaved a long sigh of relief after leaving the mine cave. There wasn't that kind of light outside the mine. The mine contains terrifying light, but the people of the Yang tribe are fine. However, Chocho and I were attacked. Could it be related to the bloodline of the Yang tribe? Thoughts flashed through Lu Ming's mind. He started to speculate based on the clues he had. Although the Yang tribe was also a human, they were born on this continent. In terms of bloodline, they were definitely different from Lu Ming. Perhaps it was because of the bloodline of the Yang tribe that they weren't attacked by that kind of light. If other living beings entered, they would be attacked by that kind of light. Therefore, the heavenly human tribe didn't enter but stayed outside. Perhaps the heavenly human tribe pretended to be gods and controlled the people on this continent so that they could dig for ores for them. No, it's just digging for ores. There's no need to go through so much trouble. It's enough to deter them with a powerful force. Moreover, they're still absorbing the power of faith. Lu Ming frowned slightly. Lu Ming still couldn't figure out why they were absorbing the power of faith. Let's leave this place first and observe in secret. Lu Ming thought for a while. Then, he used the great imitation art and transformed into the other Yang tribe member he saw in the mine. He swaggered out. There didn't seem to be any restrictions on leaving this place. However, there would be people checking to see if they had secretly taken the Icefire Star Silver out. Lu Ming easily passed the check and left the mine area. After leaving the mine area, Lu Ming used the great concealing art again and hid in the dark. He mainly observed the 5 heavenly human tribe members. For the first 2 days, he didn't find anything. On the 3rd day, he finally found something. Another heavenly human tribe member arrived. This heavenly human tribe member had a cultivation of the 2nd level of the Divine Master Realm. When he landed on the tallest mountain peak, the previous 5 celestial race cultivators all nodded and bowed respectfully towards this person. Finally, the 1st level Divine Master Heavenly Human Tribe member took out a storage ring and handed it to the 2nd level Divine Master Heavenly Human Tribe member. Chapter 4565. Could it be that the extracted Icefire Star Silver is inside? Lu Ming's eyes flashed with a fiery light. This was very likely. Through his observations over the past few days, he knew that the Icefire Star Silver extracted from the mines would be handed over to the 5 celestial beings every day. And now, this 2nd layer Divine Master expert might also be here to collect the Icefire Star Silver. There might be more than one mine on this continent, and the experts of the celestial race were obviously not limited to these few. Therefore, it was reasonable that there would be people collecting the Icefire Star Silver from various mines. The 2nd layer Divine Master Heavenly Human took the storage ring and checked its contents. He nodded and left. Lu Ming followed him quietly. He could not miss out on the Icefire Star Silver. Lu Ming had planned to observe for a few more days before taking action to kill the 5 celestial beings and take the Icefire Star Silver from them. Now that the Icefire Star Silver might be taken away by this 2nd layer Divine Master, Lu Ming naturally had his eyes on this person. After following him for a long distance, Lu Ming took action when he passed by a secluded area. Without wasting any time, Lu Ming used the heaven-breaking style, turning into a dazzling ray of light that pierced toward this celestial being. With Lu Ming's strength, this sudden attack gave the other party no chance to retaliate. By the time this celestial being discovered, it was already too late. Poof! This celestial being was pierced by the spear light, his body exploded, and he died on the spot. With a wave of his hand, Lu Ming grabbed this celestial being's storage ring. Then, with a fire, this celestial being's corpse was completely reduced to ashes, leaving no trace behind. Then, with a flash, he left the place. Hundreds of thousands of miles away, Lu Ming took out the storage ring and began to search. There were other storage rings in the storage ring, and Lu Ming patiently looked through them one by one. Lu Ming skimmed through the other items and found nothing. Icefire Star Silver. Finally, Lu Ming found the Icefire Star Silver in one of the storage rings. With a thought, a long-sized piece of metal appeared in Lu Ming's hand. The color of the metal was very strange. There were two kinds of light flowing on it. One was crimson red while the other was dark blue. The two lights seemed to blend together without any sense of disharmony. Furthermore, there were specks of light shining on it like starlight. That was why it was called Icefire Star Silver. This piece is only about 10 grams. This Icefire Star Silver is really light. Lu Ming sighed. The long-sized piece of Icefire Star Silver only weighed about 10 grams. It was not much heavier than cotton. It was rare to see such a light metal. If it was the black sky source gold, a long-sized piece would be heavier than a meteorite. Lu Ming checked the storage ring. There were a total of 30 pieces of Icefire Star Silver in the storage ring. Each piece was about 10 grams. 30 yuan added up to 300 grams. 300 grams wasn't even enough to refine a source-grade divine weapon. Refining a source-grade divine weapon required about half a kilogram. As for Qiu, if he wanted to completely neutralize the impurities in his body, he would need 5 kilograms. This was far from enough. Eat, eat, I want to eat. Qiu cried out impatiently. Here. Lu Ming gave all 30 pieces of Icefire Star Silver to Qiu, who swallowed them in one gulp. Then, Qiu showed a satisfied expression. Delicious, really delicious. Unfortunately, there's too little. It's not enough for me to neutralize the impurities. I think there's more than one mine. Let's go to other places and see if there are any other mines. Lu Ming said. He then used the great imitation art to transform into the second layer Divine Master Heavenly Human and swaggered off in a certain direction. Of course, before he left, he let out the Yang tribe man that he had placed in the primitive ring. This continent was too vast. He flew for more than a day before he finally found a mine. There really is another mine. I wonder if the metal in this mine is Icefire Star Silver. Let's go take a look. Lu Ming thought as he swaggered toward the tallest mountain. He had already discovered that there were 5 heavenly human race experts on this mountain. 1 first-layer Divine Master and 4 ninth-layer Divine Emperor Heavenly Human Elders. As Lu Ming landed, the 5 heavenly human race experts hurriedly bowed. Hand over your harvest during this time to me, Lu Ming said in a commanding tone. Why did Lord you come to collect Icefire Star Silver this month? Wasn't it always Lord Wuxin? The first-layer Divine Master Heavenly Human asked in surprise. It really is Icefire Star Silver. Lu Ming inwardly rejoiced, but he did not show it on his face. Wuxin just happened to have some matters to attend to and needs to enter seclusion, so I'll do it in his place. However, there are still 3 days before the 1-month deadline. Lord Yeling Tianshou has set a rule that every mine will only collect the Icefire Star Silver after the 30-day deadline. Lord Yu has come to collect it ahead of time. It seems to be against the rules. I'd better ask Lord Yeling Tianshou first. The first-layer Divine Master Heavenly Human said. He then took out a message transmission jade talisman and prepared to send a message. He did not suspect that this Lord Yu in front of him was someone else in disguise. He just felt that it was against the rules and was afraid of being punished, so he decided to ask the true manager of this continent, Yeling Tianshou. They're really seeking death. Lu Ming inwardly sighed. Originally, if these people handed over the Icefire Star Silver to him, he would retreat and not do anything. He did not want to alert the enemy and make it harder to get more Icefire Star Silver. But now, these people wanted to send a message to the heavenly human race above, so Lu Ming had no choice but to act. Thwish. Lu Ming struck, his finger like a spear, pointing at the first-layer Divine Master's forehead. This person had never imagined that Lu Ming would suddenly attack him, so he simply could not dodge. In truth, Even if he knew that Lu Ming was going to attack him, he would not have been able to dodge. The difference in power between the two was too great. Plush. Blood splattered everywhere. The man's forehead was pierced, and his soul was annihilated in an instant. His eyes widened in disbelief, as if he could not believe that Lu Ming would suddenly attack him. With a thud, the man's corpse fell to the ground. The other 4 ninth-layer Great God Realm Elders of the heavenly human race were stunned. They stared blankly at Lu Ming, forgetting to run. Thwish. 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 Lu Ming flicked his finger, and 4 spear lights shot out, killing the 4 ninth-layer Great God Realm Elders of the heavenly human race. The 4 heavenly human race elders were severely injured, and they were unable to fight anymore. Then, with a wave of his hand, he put the 5 heavenly human race elders into the ancient desolation ring. The reason why Lu Ming spared the 4 heavenly human elders was that Lu Ming had some questions to ask these heavenly humans. Also, Lu Ming wanted to find out the exact location of the other mines so that he would not fly around like a headless fly. Chapter 4566. After packing up, Lu Ming didn't leave. Instead, he stayed at the peak of the mountain and condensed his spiritual consciousness in the ancient desolation ring. He appeared in front of the 4 severely injured heavenly human tribe elders. "Lord Yu, why did you attack us?" "Why?" One of the heavenly human tribe elders roared. "Nonsense. How can I hand over such a precious treasure like the Icefire Star Silver?" Lu Ming sneered. He was still pretending to be Lord Yu. The great imitation technique was very mysterious. It could even imitate the condensation of spiritual consciousness. You want to take the Icefire Star Silver for yourself. If Lord Yi Ling Tianshou finds out about this, you will end up in a miserable state. It was still the heavenly human tribe elder who roared furiously. He looked as if he was filled with righteous indignation. Bang! Lu Ming took a step forward and the head of the elder from the heavenly human tribe exploded like a watermelon. His soul was also annihilated by this step. The faces of the remaining 3 old men turned pale. "I'm not here to listen to your threats and I'm too lazy to talk nonsense with you. Now, what are you going to answer me when I ask you? Why is there a strange light in the mine? Wasn't that kind of light harmful to other living beings? But harmless to the Yang tribe?" Lu Ming asked. Although he could guess many things, they were only his guesses and needed to be confirmed. "You don't even know this. You're not Lord Yu. Who are you?" One of the elders shouted. Why would the real Lord Yu ask such a question? They were all old men who had lived for countless years. They knew that Lu Ming was definitely not the real Lord Yu, but a fake. "I'm the one asking you now, not you. Do you want to die?" Lu Ming glanced at the elder coldly. The elder couldn't help but shiver and reveal a look of fear. Lu Ming's ruthless means were still vivid in his mind. "I'll give you 3 breaths to answer my question. Otherwise, I'll choose one of you to kill," Lu Ming said coldly. The cold killing intent let the 3 heavenly human tribe elders know that Lu Ming wasn't joking. 1 breath, 2 breaths. The fear in the eyes of the 3 heavenly human tribe elders became even more intense. "I'll talk. I'll tell you everything." One of the elders couldn't take it anymore and shouted. These heavenly human tribe elders were at the end of their lifespans. They were prepared to die when they entered the ruins of the universe. However, they couldn't control the fear in their hearts when death's door. The light in the mine it's extremely terrifying. Even divine masters can't last for long. We speculate that this should be related to the Flame Clan's bloodline. After all, the Flame Clan was born on this continent and is one with the continent. That's why that light would not attack the Flame Clan. As for how that light was formed, we do not know either. We can only guess that it should be related to the previous epoch. That is why we controlled the people of the Yang clan to mine for us. The elder's answer was more detailed than Lu Ming's. "Oh, then how many mines have you discovered that have those precious metal materials? Where are they?" Lu Ming asked a few more questions. "We have 36 mines and they're all made of Icefire Star Silver. There's no other metal on this continent except for Icefire Star Silver. As for the specific distribution, I have a map here with detailed markings on it. An elder answered first. He then took out a jade talisman and handed it to Lu Ming. Lu Ming waved his hand and took the jade talisman. He injected forbidden energy into it and the jade talisman shone, projecting a map in the air. There were many routes and some special markings on it, marking the various mines very clearly. They're all Icefire Star Silver mines. There are 36 of them. This continent is a priceless treasure. Lu Ming's heart pounded. How much Icefire Star Silver did this continent contain? The value of so much Icefire Star Silver was immeasurable. Adding Icefire Star Silver to an soul-level divine weapon could greatly increase the success rate. It was even more valuable than many of the materials used to refine soul-level divine weapons. What made Lu Ming happy was that the 5 kilograms of Icefire Star Silver that Chocho needed was no longer an extravagant hope. How many experts does the heavenly human race have on this continent? What's the cultivation level of the strongest? Lu Ming continued to ask. This continent is called the Heavenly Star Continent. It's the core of the Heavenly Star Zone, so most of our experts in the Heavenly Star Zone are gathered on this continent. There are several hundred of them. The strongest is Lord Yi Ling Tianshou, a 7th-tier divine master. An elder said. 7th-tier divine master. Lu Ming's heart trembled violently. This was a high-level divine master. He was much stronger than him. If he encountered him, he would probably be killed in one move. It seemed that he had been right to keep a low profile. He was no match for the heavenly human race in a head-on confrontation. Also, why are you absorbing the power of faith here? Lu Ming asked the question that was bothering him the most. We don't know the details. We only know that it seems to be related to the ancestral mountain. An elder of the heavenly human race said. The ancestral mountain? Lu Ming frowned. The Sea sect once said that the ancestors of the Yang tribe came from the ancestral mountain. It was the ancestral mountain that gave birth to the Yang tribe. Now that the heavenly human race was absorbing the power of faith, it was related to the ancestral mountain. What were they trying to do? Unfortunately, these elders of the heavenly human race did not know much. Then, Lu Ming asked a few more questions and left the chaos ring. As for the 3 elders of the heavenly human race, Lu Ming did not kill them for the time being. If he thought of any questions, he could ask them. Lu Ming took out the storage rings of the heavenly human race and looked through them one by one. Finally, Lu Ming found 27 pieces of Icefire Star Silver in one of the storage rings. Each of these 27 pieces of Icefire Star Silver was bigger than the one Lu Ming had obtained before. The weight of each piece was 15 grams. It seems that this mine is even bigger and contains even more Icefire Star Silver. It can produce 15 grams a day. Very good. Lu Ming smiled and then gave all 27 pieces of Icefire Star Silver to Chocho. Chocho showed a satisfied expression. Although Icefire Star Silver was extremely precious, Lu Ming felt his heart ache when he gave it to Chocho. But compared to Chocho's breakthrough, this was worth it. Once Chocho broke through and reached the Divine Master Realm, its ability to sense and excavate metals would greatly increase. In the future, it would be able to find even more precious metals for him. Moreover, Chocho's fighting strength would also skyrocket and become a great help to him. Chapter 4567. Lu Ming did not leave. Instead, he used the great imitation art to transform into the first-layer Divine Lord and sat down cross-legged. This was because there were still 3 days before Lord Wuxin, who had come to collect the Icefire Star Silver, would arrive. If he came and discovered that the 5 celestial race members had gone missing, he would definitely report it. At that time, the various mines would conduct a strict investigation. In that case, it would be more difficult for him to obtain more Icefire Star Silver. Therefore, Lu Ming had to wait here for 3 days to get rid of Lord Wuxin. Although the news would be leaked sooner or later, and the celestial race would realize that something was wrong, it would at least give Lu Ming more time. The next day, Lu Ming saw someone in the mine heading toward the mountain peak. It was an old man. He should be the manager of the mine. When he reached the mountain peak, he respectfully knelt on the ground and placed a jade box on the ground. Lord God, The Icefire Star Silver excavated yesterday is all here. Okay, I know. You may leave. Lu Ming imitated the voice of the celestial race and spoke in a dignified voice. Yes. The other party respectfully retreated. Lu Ming grabbed the jade box in the air and opened it. There was a piece of Icefire Star Silver inside. It weighed about 15 grams. Lu Ming casually threw it to Chocho. On the second and third days, the old man would deliver a piece of Icefire Star Silver, each of which was about 15 grams. Lu Ming gave both to Chocho. This way, Chocho ate a total of 750 grams of Icefire Star Silver, which was only 1.5 catties. It was still far from 10 catties. On the third day, not long after the old man delivered the Icefire Star Silver, a figure appeared in the distant sky. It was a middle-aged celestial raceman. Needless to say, Lu Ming knew that this was Lord Wuxin. Lord Wuxin landed on the mountain peak and glanced at Lu Ming. He frowned and said, "Yechu Mountain, why are you alone? Where are the others?" Lord Wuxin, the other 4 had something to do and left for a while. They will be back soon. Lu Ming said. Oh, so that's how it is. Give me your Icefire Star Silver. Lord Wuxin said. Yes. Lu Ming pretended to take the Icefire Star Silver, but he was actually planning to attack. But at this time, Lord Wuxin made the first move. A saber appeared in his hand, and he slashed towards Lu Ming's head. He had the cultivation of the second layer of the Divine Master Realm. His speed was as fast as lightning, and his might was terrifying. The forbidden power circulated on its own and gathered on the palm of his hand. Then, it slashed upward. Dang! Lu Ming's palm collided with the opponent's saber, causing a violent explosion. Lu Ming's palm went numb, and he couldn't help but retreat a few steps. Just now, Lu Ming had acted hastily and did not use much strength. Furthermore, the other party had used a main-grade divine weapon. That was why Lu Ming had been forced back. You can actually take one of my attacks without being injured. Very good. No wonder you are so daring to pretend to be a member of the celestial race. Lord Wuxin said coldly. How do you know I'm a fake? Lu Ming asked. His great imitation technique should be flawless. Unless a heavenly venerable came in person, no one would be able to see through it. Because I'm not Wuxin at all. Wuxin has something to do these days, so I came to collect the Icefire Star Silver. But you thought I was Wuxin. Tell me, are you a fake? The other party sneered. Lu Ming was speechless. He had casually said that Wuxin had something to do and had gone into seclusion. He didn't expect it to come true. The world was really unpredictable. Tell me, who are you? How did you impersonate a member of the celestial race? The other party said coldly. His aura and killing intent were getting stronger and stronger. What if I don't tell you? Lu Ming said indifferently. He just didn't expect the other party to suddenly attack. Otherwise, with the other party's strength, he wouldn't have taken him seriously. If you don't tell me, die. The other party shouted coldly. His aura exploded, and his saber slashed towards Lu Ming's head. Lu Ming's eyes were cold. His hand glowed as if it had turned into a long spear. This time, Lu Ming was prepared. His palm contained a terrifying power. Clang. There was the sound of metal clashing. Then, the other party's body trembled violently. He retreated continuously and spat out a mouthful of blood. This person had been injured by the recoil. Your strength. The other party's eyes widened as he stared at Lu Ming in shock. His eyes were filled with disbelief. Originally, he thought that Lu Ming was only a first-tier divine master. With his second-tier divine master cultivation, he could easily kill Lu Ming. He didn't expect Lu Ming to suddenly erupt with earth-shattering strength that completely surpassed him. You want to kill me with your strength? I'll send you on your way, Lu Ming said coldly. The war god spear appeared in his hand, and he thrust it forward. It was too fast, so fast that the other party couldn't even dodge. He could only take it head-on. But the result of taking it head-on was that this person's saber shattered and his body was pierced. Then, he was torn to pieces and died. In a head-on clash, even a third-tier divine master of the heavenly human race would be killed by Lu Ming in a single blow, let alone a second-tier divine master. After killing this person, he sent his broken body into the primordial desolate ring. As the two of them exchanged a few blows, it caused a huge commotion. The nearby mine was also alarmed. Several people hurried over. Lu Ming stepped into the air and stood in midair. His body exuded a powerful aura and dazzling light. A vast pressure enveloped the entire mine. God. It's God. God has appeared. Greetings, God. The people in the mine, as well as several managers, respectfully knelt down and prostrated themselves on the ground. They didn't dare to look directly at Lu Ming. Some of the bolder ones stole glances at Lu Ming. All they saw was that Lu Ming was enveloped in boundless divine light. His divine might was vast and unfathomable. There's no need to panic. I was cultivating just now and caused the commotion. Go back and continue working. Lu Ming's dignified voice resounded throughout the area. So that's how it was. Everyone understood. It turned out that the commotion was caused by God's cultivation. God is invincible. God, please protect us. The Yang tribe members respectfully kowtowed and retreated, returning to the mine to continue mining. The heavenly human race is really like a god in the Yang tribe's eyes. They can't be offended. Lu Ming inwardly shook his head. But this way, he could temporarily conceal it. After dismissing the Yang tribe members in the mine, Lu Ming took out a map and looked at it. Then, he turned into a beam of light and flew toward the nearest mine. When he neared the mine, he waited for a day. Then, he transformed into Lord Yu and went to collect Ice Fire Star Silver. He learned from the 3 heavenly human race elders that each mine collected Ice Fire Star Silver on different days. The same thing was that they all collected it once a month. This way, Lu Ming had an opportunity to take advantage of. Chapter 4568. And Lu Ming learned that there were a total of 3 people collecting the Ice Fire Star Silver. Each of them was in charge of 12 mines. Lord Yu was one of them, and Lord Wuxin was also one of them. The other was the middle-aged man that Lu Ming had killed before. And the mine in front of him was also in charge of Lord Wuxin. However, Lu Ming had never seen this Lord Wuxin before, so he couldn't use the great imitation skill to imitate him, so he simply turned into Lord Yu. When Lu Ming arrived, the guard of the heavenly human tribe naturally asked about Lord Wuxin. Lu Ming casually found a reason to dodge it. He got the Ice Fire Star Silver very smoothly. This time, there were more than 300 grams in total. After throwing it to Qiu Qiu, Lu Ming continued to fly to the nearest mine according to the map. The timings of these mines were different because even Lord Yu and the others couldn't visit all the mines in one day. Therefore, the timings were different, which also made it convenient for Lu Ming. Of course, Lu Ming couldn't arrive at all the mines on time. He would arrive at some mines later, but this wasn't a big deal. It was easy to find an excuse to get away with it. In the end, Lu Ming spent more than 10 days to visit all 36 mines and collected about 20 kilograms of Ice Fire Star Silver. This was a huge harvest. Because refining a source-level magic weapon only required 1 kilogram of Ice Fire Star Silver. 20 kilograms could be used to refine 20 source-level magic weapons. This was only a month's harvest. One could imagine how much Ice Fire Star Silver the heavenly human tribe had harvested here. It should be known that Ice Fire Star Silver was priceless in the primitive universe. Of course, refining source-level magic weapons didn't only require Ice Fire Star Silver. Ice Fire Star Silver was only used as a blending agent to blend various materials. Refining source-level magic weapons required other main materials. The other main materials were also extremely precious. It was extremely difficult to gather the materials to refine 20 source-level magic weapons. However, as long as he had enough Ice Fire Star Silver, he wouldn't have to worry about it. Especially for huge forces like the Heavenly Palace or the Heaven Destroyer, many of them were adventuring in the ruins of the universe to search for treasures. After a period of time, he would be able to gather enough materials to forge a source-level divine weapon. As long as he had enough Ice Fire Star Silver on hand, as long as he gathered all the materials needed to refine a soul-grade divine weapon, he could start refining it. Moreover, the success rate was as high as 20%. To a large force, this was of great significance. After years of accumulation, the number of source-level divine weapons would increase. It would also greatly increase the strength of a force. Currently, neither the Heavenly Palace nor the Heaven Destroyer could give every reciprocity expert a source-grade weapon. Indeed, not every reciprocity expert in the Heavenly Palace possessed an soul-grade weapon. This was especially true for those reciprocity experts who weren't from the Heavenly Human clan. Many of them only used master-grade weapons. However, if the Heavenly Human clan possessed a large amount of Icefire Star Silver, after a long period of accumulation, it was really possible for every person to have a soul-grade weapon, or even a few. In that case, the reciprocity experts in the Heavenly Palace would completely crush the Heaven Destroyer. Lu Ming naturally thought of this as well. No, this continent is very important. I have to find a way to get it. Lu Ming's eyes flickered. However, he had a question. This continent contained so much Icefire Star Silver. Its importance was unquestionable. It was definitely a weapon that could affect the war. However, it would take a long time. For such an important place, the strongest expert of the Heavenly Human clan was only a 7th-layer Divine Master. Were they not afraid of the Heaven Destroyer taking it away? Even if they sent a few reciprocity experts to guard it, it would not be too much. There was only one possibility. Lu Ming pondered. It was very likely that Yeling Tianshou wanted to take all the Icefire Star Silver for himself, so he chose not to report it. The upper echelons of the Heavenly Palace did not know there was so much Icefire Star Silver here. After all, this area was newly developed by the Heavenly Human clan. If that's really the case, I might be able to find a way to control this continent. Lu Ming's eyes burned with passion. However, Yeling Tianshou was a 7th-layer Divine Master. He was not someone he could deal with. He had to think about it at length. If it really didn't work, Lu Ming would return and pass the news to Fei Huang. It was fine for Fei Huang to control this continent. It was better than letting the Heavenly Palace take advantage of it. As he pondered, he flew toward the village where the sea sect was located. That's right. Lu Ming planned to hide in the village where the sea sect was located first and wait for Qiuqiu to evolve before making his next move. He had plundered all the Icefire Star Silver in the 36 mines. He believed that the Heavenly Human clan, or Yeling Tianshou, would soon discover something unusual. At that time, the continent would not be peaceful. Therefore, hiding in a remote mountain village was the best option. Lu Ming increased his speed to the maximum and flew straight. A few days later, Lu Ming returned to the village where the sea sect was located and appeared in the courtyard where he had lived before. Brother Tianyun, you're back. I thought you left. The moment he saw Lu Ming, sea sect was very happy. Lu Ming had been gone for more than 20 days. He thought that Lu Ming had left without saying goodbye. I need a few materials to heal my injuries. I went out to look for them. Lu Ming smiled. Brother Tianyun, your injuries are almost healed. Sea sect said. Yes, it's almost done. Lu Ming nodded. That's great. Sea sect was full of smiles. He was happy for Lu Ming. What a simple-minded young man. After chatting with Sea sect for a while, Lu Ming returned to his room and placed Qiuqiu on the ground. Lu Ming had already given Qiuqiu 5 kilograms of Icefire Star Silver. According to Qiuqiu's estimation, 5 kilograms of Icefire Star Silver was enough. Next, it was to wait for the impurities to be mixed and evolve. According to Qiuqiu, it would not take too long. Lu Ming planned to wait for Qiuqiu to evolve before taking the next step. As for himself, he sat cross-legged and continued to use the Chaos Ring as a reference to comprehend the Chaos style. He sighed in his heart. He did not have any Chaos crystals. Otherwise, he could take the opportunity to break through to the second level of the Divine Master Realm. He had also questioned a few elders of the Heavenly Human clan and learned that there were Chaos crystals in the Icefire Star mines, but there were very few of them. A mine would usually only excavate one piece every few years. Only one piece was produced every few years. That was too little. However, Lu Ming felt that it was a little strange. This continent was so prosperous and had given birth to such a large race like the Yang clan. It should have contained chaos crystals. Could it be that the chaos crystals were not in the Icefire Star Silver but somewhere else that the heavenly human clan could not find? Let's wait for this storm to blow over before I ask around. Lu Ming felt that this continent was not as simple as it seemed. It contained unknown secrets. Chapter 4569. At this moment, in the central region of the heavenly star continent, there was a luxurious palace. Above the palace sat a dignified figure, but his face was gloomy. This person was Yeling Tianshou. The hall was extremely oppressive. The other heavenly humans did not even dare to breathe loudly. Who can tell me what's going on? Why hasn't this month's Icefire Star Silver been collected? Yeling Tianshou's cold voice rang out in the hall. The others lowered their heads, not daring to speak. In the heavenly star continent, Yeling Tianshou was the local tyrant. Anyone who dared to offend him would end up in a miserable state. Where are Yi Lingyu, Yi Lingwuxin, and Yi Lingchu? I sent them to collect the Icefire Star Silver. Why isn't anyone here? Give me an answer. Yeling Tianshou's voice became heavier. He was clearly very unhappy. My lord, Yi Lingwuxin is in seclusion. The ones in charge of collecting the Icefire Star Silver this month are Yi Lingyu and Yi Lingchu. At this moment, an elder bowed and said. This person had a 5th-level Divine Master cultivation and was one of the strongest people under Yeling Tianshou. Then, where are the two of them? Why haven't they come to see me? Yeling Tianshou asked. My lord, we haven't seen Yi Lingyu and Yi Lingchu return during this period of time. Furthermore, no one has responded to our messages. They didn't send any messages, the elder reported. They haven't returned. No one replied to my messages. Yeling Tianshou frowned and pondered for a moment. Go, call the people in charge of the 36 mines here. I have something to ask them. Yes. The old man accepted the order respectfully. Then, he retreated and began to transmit his voice. The others waited in the main hall. This wait lasted for a few days. The people in charge of the other mines hurried over. Not all of the people in charge of the 36 mines were first-level Divine Masters. In fact, only a few mines had Divine Masters overseeing them. Even in the Heavenly Palace, there were not many Divine Masters. Among the hundreds of heavenly humans led by Yeling Tianshou, there were only 20 or so Divine Masters. These people bowed respectfully when they saw Yeling Tianshou. Why is one person missing? Yeling Tianshou looked around and found that only 35 of the 36 people had come. Lord Tianshou, the person in charge of the Chishan mine, has not replied. The old man at the 5th layer of the Divine Master realm replied. No reply. A trace of gloominess flashed across Yeling Tianshou's eyes as he said, Go, send someone to investigate. Yes. The old man at the 5th level of the Divine Master realm received the order and sent someone to the Chishan mine. The Chishan mine was where Lu Ming had killed or captured all 5 heavenly humans who were guarding the mine. Naturally, no one would return. Have you handed in all your Icefire Star Silver for this month? Yeling Tianshou looked at the 35 people in charge below the hall. Lord Tianshou, I've already handed over all the Icefire Star Silver to Lord Yu, said a first-layer Divine Master in charge. I've also handed mine over to Master Yi Lingchu. Mine too. I also gave it to Lord Chu. The other people in charge also replied one after another, either handing it over to Lord Yu or Lord Chu. Are you sure? If anyone dares to lie to me, you know what will happen to them, Yeling Tianshou said coldly. Yeling Tianshou said coldly. His long and narrow eyes were filled with killing intent. The people in charge all paled. They were well aware of how vicious and merciless Yeling Tianshou was. Lord Tianshou, I can swear on my life origin that everything I said is true. Me too. I also swear on my life origin that if I'm lying, I'll be at Lord Tianshou's mercy. The others also began to cry out in order to prove their innocence. Okay, I believe all of you. You're all dismissed. Yeling Tianshou waved his hand, and the 35 people in charge withdrew. Lord Tianshou, could it be that Yi Lingyu and Yi Lingchu wanted to stuff their pockets with the Icefire Star Silver and then leave? The old man at the 5th level of the Divine Master realm said. Ice Fire Star Silver was too precious, and anyone would covet it. Impossible. The two of them wouldn't dare betray me. Their lives are in my hands. Yelling Tianshou said. That's true. The Divine Master Realm Elder nodded. Yelling Tianshou had mastered a terrifying poison art. His subordinates were all under his control, and no one dared to resist. As long as he used his poison art, those poisoned would suffer a fate worse than death. Lu Ming's guess was correct. Yelling Tianshou had not reported the large amount of Ice Fire Star Silver to the upper echelons of the Heavenly Palace. He had wanted to keep it for himself. He had dared to do so for two reasons. One was that he had used his poison art to control all his subordinates. These people would not dare to betray him, nor would they dare to spread the news. The other reason was that Yelling Tianshou's father was a powerful celestial sovereign of the Heavenly Palace. With such a powerful backer, even if something went wrong, he would have someone to back him up. It seems that someone else from the Stellar Sky continent has already infiltrated. The most likely possibility is that after Yi Lingyu and Yi Lingchu collected the icy fiery star silver, they were killed on their way back and the icy fiery star silver was stolen. Yelling Tianshou said. He had never imagined that Lu Ming had impersonated Yi Lingyu and Yi Lingchu. Someone else? Could it be someone from the Heaven Destroyer? The various races of the universe probably don't have the guts. The elder of the 5th level Divine Lord Realm grimaced. No matter who it is, only death awaits those who dare oppose me. Later on, all of you 3rd level Divine Lords and above are to patrol the mines. If you find anyone suspicious, kill them on sight. Also, mobilize the people of the Yang race and find anyone suspicious. As long as they're not from the Yang race, report to me, Yelling Tianshou said. Yes. Yes. The elder of the 5th level Divine Lord Realm and the others left with this order. Not long after, Yelling Tianshou received news that the 5 heavenly human race experts guarding the Chishan mine had gone missing. This made him even more certain that someone else had infiltrated. You don't dare to act openly and only know how to hide in the shadows. It seems that your strength is limited. As long as you're still on the Heavenly Star continent, I'll find you. Yelling Tianshou coldly said. The entire continent began to tremble. The god had issued a divine decree that anyone who was not from the Yang race was to report to him. The village where the Ocean sect was located naturally received the divine decree as well. Unfortunately, Yelling Tianshou had not expected that Lu Ming was also from the human race. The Yang race was also from the human race, and it was impossible to tell them apart from their auras. Thus, the people of the Ocean sect's village believed that Lu Ming was also from the Yang race and did not place him on their list of suspects. It was no wonder that Yelling Tianshou had not expected this. In truth, the human race was not very strong in the primitive universe, and there were very few experts. Although the Forbidden Sword ancestor, Tang Feng, had appeared and was unparalleled, that was only an extremely rare example. Thus, Yelling Tianshou had never imagined that the person who had entered the Heavenly Star continent was also a human. Chapter 4570. It was raging outside, but Lu Ming's days were very peaceful. In the blink of an eye, half a month had passed. No one had come to disturb Lu Ming. As for Qiuqiu, it was constantly evolving. After half a month, Lu Ming could clearly feel that Qiuqiu was different. A mysterious light was constantly flowing out of its round body, and the aura it emitted was becoming purer and stronger. Lu Ming estimated that Qiuqiu wasn't far from breaking through. Suddenly, a noise came from outside. Lu Ming immediately knew that it was Hai Zong arguing with someone else. Lu Ming spread out his spiritual sense and clearly saw the situation outside. The one arguing with Hai Zong was a youth in his 20s. His face was filled with arrogance. Lu Ming recognized this youth. He was the village chief's son, Hai Feng. Hai Feng led 2 middle-aged men to surround Hai Zong. Hai Zong, give me that red stone today. Leaving such a treasure in your hands is just a waste. It won't be of any use. Hai Feng's gaze swept over Hai Zong, revealing a greedy expression. Don't even think about it. That red stone is the only thing my grandfather left me. Don't even think about giving it to you. Haizong roared, glaring at Haifeng. Haizong, don't refuse a toast only to be forced to drink a forfeit. If you offend me, you won't have a good ending. Haifeng coldly shouted, his eyes cold. Haifeng, I advise you to give up. Don't keep asking me for the Crimson Stone. If you want the Crimson Stone, you have to kill me. But let me tell you, the Crimson Stone is hidden in a secret place. Even if you kill me, you won't get it. Haizong roared. You. Haifeng was furious. His cold eyes swept over Haizong's body. He really wanted to cut Haizong in half, but once he thought about how he wouldn't be able to get the red stone if he killed Haizong, he could only suppress his murderous intent. However, he couldn't vent his anger without a place to vent it. Boom! Haifeng attacked, sending a punch at Haizong. The sound of a fist exploding rang out. Its power was astonishing. Haifeng's cultivation was much stronger than Haizong's. He had reached the peak of the Heavenly Emperor realm. Haizong was definitely not his match. Inside the room, Lu Ming's eyes flashed, but he didn't make a move in the end. He could tell that Haifeng didn't want to kill Haizong. As long as they didn't kill Haizong, Lu Ming didn't need to do anything. Everyone had their own path to walk, and had to experience certain things, and experience certain trials and tribulations. If he interfered in the slightest, then it wouldn't do any good to the growth of the seawater sect. As long as his life was not in danger, there was no need for him to make a move. Haizong roared angrily as he raised his fist to block. However, he was no match for Haifeng. Their fists collided, and a cracking sound rang out as Haizong's hand was broken. He staggered backward. Haifeng followed, slamming his fist into Haizong's stomach. Haizong let out a muffled groan as he was sent flying. He slammed into the ground and coughed up several mouthfuls of blood. Haizong, be a good boy and hand over the Crimson Stones to me. Fawning on me will be beneficial to you. If you go against me, you'll end up in a miserable state. I won't kill you today, but I'll give you some time to think about it. Let's go. Haifeng coldly shouted and left with the two big men. Haizong wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth and staggered to his feet. With a creak, Lu Ming opened the door and walked out. Big brother Tianyun, I'm sorry for disturbing your recovery, Haizong said with some interest. It's fine. How are your injuries? Lu Ming asked. It's nothing. They're just minor injuries. I'll be fine in a few days. Haizong smiled. Then, as if his wounds had been torn open, he sucked in a breath of cold air and grimaced. Take this pill. It'll help you heal. Lu Ming took out a healing pill and handed it to Haizong. Millimeter. Haizong nodded and swallowed the pill. Immediately, a warm current spread through his body, gathering towards his wounds. He could clearly feel that the broken bones in his hand were healing at an astonishing speed. This effect caused the sea sect to be shocked. Big brother Tianyun, this pill is very precious. Isn't it a waste for you to give it to me? Haizong originally thought that what Lu Ming gave him was just an ordinary pill. He didn't expect the effect to be so amazing. He knew it must be an extraordinary pill. It's fine. I still have a lot of such pills. Lu Ming smiled. What he gave Haizong was just an ordinary king-level healing pill. It was very useful for divine kings. Lu Ming had as many of such pills as he wanted. Haizong's cultivation was only at the Heavenly Emperor realm. For him, a king-level divine pill's effect was naturally heaven-defying. In just a short while, Haizong's injuries were almost 70% healed. This stunned Haizong. This was the first time he had seen such a heaven-defying medicinal effect. Haizong, what happened just now? Lu Ming asked curiously. Haizong hesitated. It's fine. If it's inconvenient, you don't have to say. Lu Ming said. No, actually, there's nothing inconvenient. It's all because of the Crimson Stone. That person just now is the village chief's son. He has always been thinking about my Crimson Stone. He wants to get my Crimson Stone, but he has never succeeded. Haizong said. Crimson Stone? Lu Ming whispered. Yes, the Crimson Stone is the only keepsake my grandfather left to me. Grandfather liked to travel the world when he was young. It is said that grandfather found the crimson stone near the ancestral mountain. It is said that it contains a big secret, so Haifeng has always wanted to get it. But why would I give it to him? This is what grandfather left to me, Haizong said. At the mention of Haifeng, he gnashed his teeth. Ancestral mountain, Lu Ming whispered. His heart shook. Since coming to the heavenly star continent, he had heard the term ancestral mountain many times. Legend has it that the earliest ancestor of the Yang clan came from the ancestral mountain. It was even said that the Yang clan was born from the ancestral mountain. And the celestial clan collected the power of faith for the ancestral mountain. What secrets did the ancestral mountain contain? It seems that I have to make a trip to the ancestral mountain, Lu Ming thought in his heart. Here, this is it. As he spoke, Haizong took out a red stone from his bosom. The red stone was the color of blood. It was about the size of a broad bean and looked very ordinary. You hid the crimson stone in your bosom? Lu Ming was a little tongue-tied. He really thought that Haizong had hidden the crimson stone in some secret place. The most dangerous place is the safest place. Haifeng would never dream that the crimson stone was on me, so he never searched me, Haizong said. Lu Ming revealed a trace of admiration. Haizong was really a little bit of a wise man. Can I see it? Lu Ming asked. To be honest, he was really curious about the crimson stone that came from the ancestral mountain. Of course. Haizong generously handed the crimson stone to Lu Ming. Lu Ming held it in his hand and carefully examined it. It looked very ordinary and he couldn't see anything special about it. Then, Lu Ming injected forbidden power. The crimson stone trembled slightly and returned to normal. Chapter 4571. Lu Ming studied it for a while but didn't find anything. Big brother Tianyun, did you find anything? Haizong asked with hope in his eyes. No. Lu Ming shook his head. He had secretly asked Jiyu Mo, hoping that the knowledgeable Jiyu Mo could find something. However, Jiyu Mo didn't find anything either. He speculated that the crimson stone was probably something from the previous era, and it was beyond his knowledge. Lu Ming returned the crimson stone to Haizong. Grandpa studied it his whole life, but he didn't find anything. He gave it to me, hoping that I could find something. However, I've been carrying it with me for many years, but I didn't find anything. It seems that it's just an ordinary stone. Haizong was a little disappointed and put the crimson stone away. Even if it was just an ordinary stone, it was still something his grandpa left him. He would take good care of it and never give it to Haifeng. While they were chatting, Haizong's injuries were almost healed. The two chatted for a while more, and then Lu Ming returned to his room. Another 10 days passed in a hurry. On this day, Qiuqiu's body suddenly emitted a powerful aura. Lu Ming quickly put Qiuqiu into the ancient desolation ring to avoid alerting others. Lu Ming's spiritual consciousness appeared in the ancient desolation ring. Boom! A powerful aura erupted from Qiuqiu's body. His body floated in the air, emitting dazzling rays of light. These rays of light were dazzling. In the light, Qiuqiu's body kept squirming and changing. It turned into a spear, then a sword, then a halberd, then a mirror. In the end, it turned into a ball, and his aura reached its peak. Divine Lord! Lu Ming's eyes lit up. Qiuqiu had finally broken through. He was indeed stuck at the 9th level of the Divine Lord realm because of the impurities. Now that he had used 5 kilograms of icy firestar silver to neutralize the impurities, it took him less than a month to break through and enter the Divine Lord realm. After breaking through, Qiuqiu's evolution didn't stop. A powerful aura emanated from his body. It was as if his body contained boundless energy. This guy is still improving, still breaking through. Lu Ming's eyes lit up. He knew that Qiuqiu had devoured quite a few damaged source-grade divine weapons and damaged master-grade divine weapons. One must know that that was a source-level divine armament. Even if it was damaged, the energy essence it contained was no small matter. Source-grade weapons corresponded to reciprocity. Furthermore, there were quite a few damaged divine weapons. Once he refined them, his gains would be huge. Chocho had only just broken through to the Divine Master Realm, so it naturally wouldn't stop so easily. Chocho's aura continued to rise. Early first layer of the Divine Master Realm, middle first layer of the Divine Master Realm, late first layer of the Divine Master Realm, peak first layer of the Divine Master Realm, boom. Half a day later, Chocho's aura skyrocketed again, reaching a new level. Second level of the Divine Master Realm. What kind of physique does this guy have? It's so perverted. He's surpassed me again. Lu Ming was truly envious of Chocho. Others had to cultivate painstakingly, but as long as Chocho had high-grade god weapons or high-grade metal materials to consume, its cultivation would skyrocket. This was simply a pervert among perverts. Lu Ming had previously believed that Chocho was a member of the metal race, but now, it seemed like this was a question mark. This was because the metal race had never produced a physique as perverted as Chocho's. Although the metal race was one of the 10 strongest races, possessing great talent and being able to absorb various metals to increase their cultivation, they were definitely not as perverted as Chocho, advancing so quickly. Chocho's aura quickly stabilized at the second layer of the Divine Master Realm before rising once more. Lu Ming was flabbergasted. Could Chocho have reached the third layer of the Divine Master Realm in one go? This was the Divine Master Realm. Every single layer was extremely difficult to advance, even in the primitive universe. Only by entering the ruins of the universe and searching for primitive crystals could one advance. Chocho had actually done it so easily. Before long, Chocho's aura reached the peak of the second layer of the Divine Master Realm. At this point, Chocho did not continue to break through. Instead, it withdrew its aura and ended its evolution. Chocho, amazing. You've surpassed me in one go. Lu Ming flew over, beaming. What a pity. I was so close to breaking through to the third layer of the Divine Master Realm. Chocho sighed, but the smugness in its eyes was very clear. This fellow is still acting cool in front of me. Lu Ming scorned. Of course, he was also happy for Chocho. Chocho had reached the second layer of the Divine Master Realm, and its fighting strength had increased. But Lu Ming estimated that it was definitely not weak. Chocho had a special physique and had devoured several divine weapons, so it could inherit some of their mysteries and power. Once it erupted, it could become a major fighting force for Lu Ming. Crucially, Chocho's mining ability had also increased by a large margin. Have you refined all the broken divine weapons you devoured previously? Lu Ming asked. Not yet. The divine weapons contain extremely dense energy essence, and there are several of them. I can still refine them for some time. Once I've finished refining them, breaking through to the third layer of the Divine Master Realm or even the fourth layer of the Divine Master Realm won't be impossible. But it won't be so easy to break through in the future. I'll need a lot of divine weapons and metal materials. Chocho said. Lu Ming nodded. It was fine as long as he hadn't finished refining them yet. He would look for more in the future. Chocho, you've broken through. We should go out for a walk, Lu Ming said. Almost a month had passed, and it should be quiet outside. He wanted to go to those mines and see if he could get some ice fire star silver. With a thought, Chocho came out of the primal desolate ring, turned into a bracelet, and put it on Lu Ming's wrist. After informing Hai Zong, Lu Ming left without anyone noticing. Soon, Lu Ming arrived at the closest Icefire Star silver mine. This mine was also the first one that Lu Ming had found. There's no celestial race here. Lu Ming stood in the air, but he didn't see a single celestial race expert. There was also no sign of any celestial race experts on the highest mountain. Lu Ming used the great concealment art to conceal his aura and continued to observe. They are here. About half a day later, Lu Ming saw a 9th-layer divine god realm elder of the celestial race descending on the mountain. Soon, a manager of the mine delivered a jade box. The 9th-layer divine god realm elder of the celestial race took the jade box and left. Lu Ming frowned. Was the celestial race going to collect once a day? Once a day, there would only be about 10 grams of Icefire Star silver. Even if Lu Ming killed them, he would only get 10 grams, and he might be exposed. This should be the celestial race's plan to guard against him. Chapter 4572. In this case, Lu Ming really couldn't make a move, because it was really not worth it. If he was exposed and surrounded by the experts of the heavenly human race, it would be troublesome. Lu Ming observed for a while, then left and went to another mine. He discovered that the other mine was about the same. It was also harvested once a day. Once it was harvested, it would leave without delay. Lu Ming went to several mines in succession, and they were all the same. Lu Ming even felt several powerful auras hiding in the dark around a relatively large mine. One of the auras made Lu Ming feel a sense of danger. If Lu Ming's spirit sense wasn't extremely sharp, he wouldn't have noticed it. Obviously, the heavenly human race was hiding in the dark. If Lu Ming appeared, they would attack violently. However, from this, it could be seen that the heavenly human race didn't have enough people. Otherwise, they wouldn't only be hiding in the larger mines. No one was hiding in the smaller mines. Lu Ming observed for a while, but he didn't make a move. Instead, he left. Lu Ming, you should let me try. Maybe I can get into the mine and swallow and refine the Icefire Star Silver. At this time, Chocho Ali. Get into the mine? Chocho, you know that there are terrifying rays of light in the mine. Those who aren't from the Yang race will be attacked if they enter. Even my forbidden power can't withstand it. Can you withstand it? Lu Ming said. I think I can try. After breaking through to the Divine Master Realm, my strength has increased greatly. Also, look, as Chocho spoke, a layer of liquid metal suddenly flowed on the surface of his body, shining with red and blue starlight, wrapping him inside. This is Icefire Star Silver. Lu Ming was a little shocked. That's right. I've eaten 5 kilograms of Icefire Star Silver, which can transform the surface of my body into Icefire Star Silver. The Icefire Star Silver here is exposed to that kind of light all year round. If I cover my body with Icefire Star Silver, I might be able to block it. Chocho Ali. Okay, then let's go to the first mine. You can try it, Lu Ming said. With that, Lu Ming brought Chocho back to the mine closest to the Sea Sect village. There were no heavenly human tribe members guarding this place. Lu Ming silently entered the mine. In a deserted corner, Chocho began to take action. He flew out and opened his mouth to chew. Soon, he dug out a cave and entered it. A moment later, Chocho flew out again. Chocho, how is it? Lu Ming asked. No problem. The surface of my body has turned into ice spark silver, which has a great blocking effect on that kind of light. Most of the destructive power of that kind of light has been blocked. Although a trace of the destructive power has landed on my body, I can withstand it. It won't be a problem for me to stay in the mine for 10 days at a time, Chocho said proudly. Lu Ming was delighted. In this way, wouldn't Chocho be able to continuously refine large amounts of Icefire Star Silver? Even if he didn't directly clash with the Celestial Tribe, Lu Ming would still be able to obtain large amounts of Icefire Star Silver. That's great. Chocho, you excavate here. I'll wait for you in the village. If anything happens, send me a message. Lu Ming said. All right, no problem. Wait for me to empty this continent of Icefire Star Silver, haha. Chocho proudly continued to drill into the mine and disappeared. Lu Ming returned to the village where the Sea Sect was located. Lu Ming wasn't worried about Chocho's safety at all. Chocho could block that kind of light and come and go freely in the mine. Even if he encountered that 7th-tier Divine Master of the Celestial Tribe, he would be able to retreat safely. If he couldn't beat him, he could just drill into the mine. The Celestial Tribe wouldn't dare to enter the mine. After returning to the Sea Sect's courtyard, Lu Ming continued to comprehend the desolate form and the battle formula. He planned to wait until Chocho excavated enough Icefire Star Silver before making his next move. Moreover, this continent definitely contained desolate crystals. It was just that he hadn't found them yet. If Chocho could find them, he would be rich. Half a month passed in the blink of an eye. Chocho returned and spat out 5 catties of Icefire Star Silver. This speed was many times faster than the mining speed of the Flame Tribe in the mine. However, Chocho's expression was somewhat unsightly. When he saw Lu Ming, he said, "Lu Ming, I discovered that there's not much ice fire star silver left in that mine. After being mined by the celestial tribe for so many years, it's about to dry up. Next time, I'll go to the other mines to take a look." "All right, Chocho, be careful." Lu Ming nodded. "Don't worry, I'm leaving." With that, Chocho's figure flashed and he left. Given the level of this village, Chocho naturally wouldn't be discovered by anyone. Just like that, Lu Ming stayed in this village for another 3 months. In these 3 months, Chocho went to the various mines and brought back more than 20 catties of ice fire star silver for Lu Ming. His colleague Chocho told him that the same was true for the other mines. They were about to dry up and there wasn't much ice fire star silver left to be mined. It seems that the celestial tribe has almost mined out all the ice fire star silver. I wonder how much ice fire star silver they have. I originally planned to think of a way to occupy this continent, but it seems that there's no need. As long as I can get the ice fire star silver from the celestial tribe. Lu Ming's eyes flashed with a fiery light. However, his current cultivation wasn't enough. He still needed to wait. "Lu Ming, I also discovered a big secret." At this moment, Chocho approached Lu Ming and whispered with a mysterious look. "What secret?" Lu Ming was very cooperative and pretended to be curious. However, to be honest, Lu Ming was indeed a little curious. Seeing Lu Ming's expression, Chocho's vanity was greatly satisfied. He said with a smile, "It's about the Mountain of Ancestors." The Mountain of Ancestors? This time, Lu Ming was really shocked. At first, he was just a little curious, but now he was deeply curious. Chocho was even more pleased. "Yes, the Mountain of Ancestors. I discovered that there are all kinds of metal ores in the depths of this continent. The quantity is astonishing, and they intersect like veins. You can follow these ore veins to the Mountain of Ancestors. Metal ores are everywhere under this continent." Lu Ming was shocked. Then, his eyes burned with passion. Yes, this continent was definitely not simple in the previous epoch. Unfortunately, most of the ores are not high-grade. They can only be used to forge emperor or sovereign divine weapons. There are very few ores that can be used to forge master divine weapons. They are not very useful. Chocho sighed. Lu Ming also felt that it was a pity. Indeed, Lu Ming really didn't care about the ores that could only be used to forge emperor or sovereign divine weapons. Chocho's cultivation had reached the 2nd tier of the Divine Master realm. These low-grade ores were almost useless to Chocho. No matter how much Chocho ate, he wouldn't be able to increase his cultivation. As Lu Ming's cultivation increased, his standards naturally became higher and higher. "That's right, Chocho. Did you find any desolate gems underground?" Lu Ming asked again. Chapter 4573. Compared to the various precious metals, Lu Ming was more concerned about the desolate crystals. The desolate crystals could be directly converted into strength and improve one's cultivation. No treasure was as practical as the desolate crystals. No. Chocho shook his head. He wasn't too enthusiastic about the desolate crystals. Lu Ming was a little disappointed. "By the way, what's the secret of the ancestral mountain you mentioned?" Lu Ming finally thought of the ancestral mountain. "I followed the metal veins and came to the periphery of the ancestral mountain. I found the heavenly human tribe. They seemed to want to destroy something and enter the ancestral mountain." Chocho Ali. "Destroy what? You mean the heavenly human tribe hasn't entered the ancestral mountain yet?" Lu Ming asked. "No, there's a powerful force around the ancestral mountain. It's difficult to enter. Even if there's a metal vein underground, I can't enter through the metal vein." Chocho Ali. This was somewhat beyond Lu Ming's expectations. Lu Ming thought that the heavenly human tribe had already entered the ancestral mountain. It turned out that the heavenly human tribe was still dawdling outside the ancestral mountain. "Let's go, Chocho. Let's go take a look," Lu Ming said. Then, Lu Ming took Chocho and flew in the direction of the ancestral mountain. The ancestral mountain was in the center of the continent. Lu Ming transformed into a heavenly human and flew at full speed. He soon arrived. The ancestral mountain is up ahead. Cho pointed straight ahead. Lu Ming looked over. There were clouds and mist in front of him. He could vaguely see a huge mountain rising from the ground. It was very majestic and could be tens of thousands of feet tall. To be honest, a peak of tens of thousands of feet was not considered outstanding on this continent. Peaks above tens of thousands of feet were everywhere on this continent. This was somewhat beyond Lu Ming's expectations. He originally thought that the ancestral mountain would be the most majestic and tallest mountain on this continent. In the end, it was not considered outstanding among the mountains on this continent. It seemed a little ordinary. However, that mist was very strange. It could obstruct Lu Ming's vision, causing him to be unable to see the entirety of the Mountain of Ancestors. He could only see an outline. The people of the celestial race are in the surroundings. If we get any closer, we will be discovered. Lu Ming, I will bring you through the mine. The ball was on the fairway. All right. Lu Ming nodded. Cho's body was like liquid metal. It squirmed on Lu Ming's body and turned into a suit of armor that covered Lu Ming's entire body. Next, Lu Ming chose a place and dug a hole in the ground. Below was an ordinary metal or vein. Cho brought Lu Ming along and blended into the metal or vein. The metal veins here also contained that terrifying light, but most of it was blocked by Cho. Very little could seep in, and Lu Ming easily blocked it with his taboo power. According to Cho, the underground veins of this continent all had that terrifying light. No one knew how it was produced. Cho brought Lu Ming along the vein. After walking for a while, they went up. In places where there were no oars, Cho opened its mouth and gnawed away the rocks. It quietly dug a hole and came to the surface. Cho chose a very good place. It was very hidden. Over there, as soon as Lu Ming came out, he sensed many auras in a certain place. A few of them were extremely powerful, which shocked Lu Ming. Lu Ming used the great concealment technique to conceal his aura to the extreme. He hid himself in a big rock and looked in that direction. Indeed, there were many celestial race people in that direction. At a glance, there were at least dozens of them. Behind the dozens of people, there were also dozens of huge statues. Those statues, Lu Ming's eyes moved and his heart trembled. He sensed a rich power of faith from those statues. The power of faith is about to be full again. This time, we must break through this lifeline in one go. One of the celestial race people said with dignity. Lu Ming felt the strongest sense of danger from this person. Don't worry, Lord Tianshou. The power of faith of the Yang clan can suppress the lifeline of their ancestral mountain. After so many years, a hole has been opened in the first lifeline. This time, we will definitely break through it completely in one go. A celestial race elder said. Lord Tianshou? It seems that this person is the ruler of the celestial race on this continent, Yiling Tianshou. Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat. Afterward, Lu Ming's gaze shifted to the front. This was already the foot of the ancestral mountain. After passing through the clouds, he could see the ancestral mountain clearly. The appearance of the ancestral mountain stunned Lu Ming. It was still too strange. The outermost area of the ancestral mountain was a mountain range. This mountain range was like a huge dragon. Its head and tail intersected, forming a circle that surrounded the other parts of the ancestral mountain. And they were now outside this mountain range. And inside this mountain range, there was a second mountain range that also looked like a huge dragon. Its head and tail intersected, forming a circle that surrounded the inner part of the ancestral mountain. Unlike the first mountain range, the second mountain range was higher, so it could be seen clearly from outside. But it was not over. Inside the second mountain range, there was a third mountain range that was almost the same as the first two. It also formed a circle. The only difference was that the third mountain range was higher than the second mountain range. After the third mountain range, there was a fourth, fifth, sixth. There were a total of 9 mountain ranges. The 9 mountain ranges were all in a circle. The deeper the mountain range, the smaller the area, but the taller it was. There should be some distance between them. In the center of the 9th mountain range, there was a mountain peak that pierced the sky like a sharp sword. It was the tallest. The 9 mountain ranges and the mountain peak in the center formed the complete ancestral mountain. It was Lu Ming's first time seeing such a landscape, and he could not help but be shocked. This is the lifeline layout. At this moment, Ji Yumo's voice rang in his mind. Lifeline layout? It was Lu Ming's first time hearing about it. That's right. The 9 ring-shaped mountain ranges you see are the lifelines. If my guess is correct, these 9 lifelines might be connected to the people of the Yang clan. That's because the ancestor of the Yang clan came from here. Moreover, the lifeline has an extremely powerful sealing and defensive function. Not only can one not fly in the area covered by the lifeline, it can also prevent other living beings from entering. Ji Yumo explained. Lu Ming was enlightened. No wonder the people of the heavenly human tribe did not fly in directly. It was impossible to fly in here. If they wanted to enter the sacred mountain, they could only go in step by step. If the people of the heavenly human tribe want to enter the sacred mountain, they can only sever the lifeline. However, the lifeline is connected to the Yang tribe's fate. Severing the lifeline will cause great harm to the Yang tribe. Ji Yumo said. Great harm to the Yang tribe? Will it cause the people of the Yang tribe to die? Lu Ming's heart trembled as he asked. Chapter 4574. That won't happen. The lifeline is related to the luck of a race. Breaking the lifeline is equivalent to cutting off the luck of the race. The talent and luck of the descendants of the race will become worse and worse. Moreover, the race will encounter all kinds of disasters. Over time, the race will be destroyed. Ji Yumo explained. Lu Ming gasped a breath of cold air. Breaking the lifeline could lead to the extinction of the race. These 9 ring-shaped mountain ranges are the 9 lifelines. If all of them are broken, the Yang tribe will definitely be destroyed in the future. If a few are left, there is still a chance. Now it seems that the power of faith of the Yang tribe can help the heavenly human tribe break the lifeline. They can't do it with their own strength. Ji Yumo said. Lu Ming nodded. After coming here, Lu Ming finally understood why the heavenly human tribe collected the power of faith. The heavenly human tribe descended on this continent and turned into gods. Not only did they enslave the Yang tribe and make them mine for them, but they also collected their power of faith and used it to cut off the lifeline of the Yang tribe. This method was brilliant and ruthless. One had to admit that Yelling Tianshou was a character. However, the people of the Yang tribe were really miserable. The gods that they devoutly believed in were doing something that cut off the lifeline of their race. He wondered what the people of the Yang tribe would think if they knew. At this moment, the heavenly human tribe had already begun to act. The power of faith of the dozens of statues continuously poured into the battle swords, covering the battle swords with a thick power of faith. Yelling Tianshou ordered. The few heavenly human tribe members worked together to activate the battle swords and slashed at the outermost mountain range. When the battle swords approached, the mountain range shone. Lu Ming could clearly see that there was a blood-red vein in the mountain range. It seemed to have merged with the mountain range. This blood-red vein was the real lifeline. One could see that there was a huge gap in this lifeline. It seemed to have been damaged for a long time and was in imminent danger. It seemed like it would be cut off at any time. This should be the place where the heavenly human tribe had been attacking for a long time. Boom! The battle swords slashed at the gap in the lifeline and a violent explosion erupted. One could see that the gap became a little bigger after the slash. Continue. Yelling Tianshou continued to order. Whoosh! The second sword, which contained a rich amount of faith power, slashed down and also slashed at the same hole, making it bigger. After the battle sword was slashed, the faith power would be exhausted. However, the dozens of statues would immediately pour a large amount of faith power into the battle sword. These several dozen statues were the power of faith that the celestial race had gathered from the entire continent over the past several decades. It was incomparably rich and could be used continuously. Boom! 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 Several members of the heavenly human race controlled their swords and slashed at the lifeline. The gap was getting bigger and bigger. Half a day later, the power of faith on the dozens of statues had become very thin. However, the lifeline had almost been severed, leaving only a trace of connection. Break. Boom. Finally, another sword slash landed on the gap in the lifeline, severing the last connection between the lifeline and the lifeline. Rumble. The entire ancestral mountain shook violently. At this moment, the countless Yang clan members on the continent felt uneasy, as if a calamity was about to befall them. This was an instinctive reaction from the unseen world, and it was unclear what it was. After the lifeline was severed, it wriggled like a living dragon and finally turned into a ray of light, flying into the depths of the ancestral mountain and disappearing. The outermost mountain range was still there, but it looked very ordinary now, as if it had become an ordinary mountain range. Ha ha ha, we've finally severed the first lifeline. The heavenly human race members were overjoyed. Without the protection of the lifeline, this mountain is just an ordinary mountain. Break through this mountain and let's go inside to take a look. Yelling Tianshou ordered. Immediately, a few heavenly human race members attacked. Their divine weapons turned into dazzling rays of light and slashed at the mountain. Bam! 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 The divine weapons landed on the mountain, causing debris to fly everywhere. Large rocks crumbled, and in the blink of an eye, a crater was formed on the mountain. Compared to the other mountains, this mountain was still incomparably tough, but it was no longer indestructible. It was only a matter of time before it was penetrated. Let's attack together, Yelling Tianshou ordered. Even he took action, continuously attacking the mountain. They wanted to penetrate the mountain and enter. Although there were still 8 lifelines inside. However, there was a gap between the first lifeline and the second lifeline. Perhaps there was a great opportunity hidden within. Lu Ming, this lifeline has disappeared, so has the underground barrier. I'll take you directly in, Qiu said. Let's go in and take a look, Lu Ming said. Qiu shrouded Lu Ming again. The two entered the underground mine and then followed the mine toward the ancestral mountain. Previously, there was a lifeline blocking them, so they couldn't enter. Now that the first lifeline was severed, they could directly follow the underground mine and cross the first mountain range. After a while, Qiu began to move upward, and then the two appeared in a canyon. Yes, there was a gap between the first lifeline and the second lifeline, about 100 miles away, forming a canyon. What a rich life essence. Is this desolate qi? Lu Ming took a deep breath, and his eyes lit up. This place was full of vitality, and countless plants were thriving here, exuding rich life essence. Moreover, there was also a trace of desolate qi in the void. Lu Ming, look, are those desolate crystals on the wall? Qiu exclaimed in surprise. Lu Ming looked at the wall of the first lifeline. This was the wall of the first lifeline. The heavenly human tribe was still on the outer wall of the lifeline. On the walls of the internal test room, there were spots of light. These spots of light were clearly pieces of desolate crystals embedded in the walls. At a glance, there were no less than 1,000 desolate crystals. Lu Ming's heart thumped. He was rich. He had long speculated that there must be desolate crystals on this continent, but he had never found them. It turned out that the desolate crystals were here, in the ancestral mountain. 1,000 desolate crystals would definitely be able to greatly improve his cultivation. Qiu, let's work together and dig out these desolate crystals. Lu Ming shouted and rushed to the wall. When he reached the bottom of the wall, Lu Ming took out a source-level divine weapon. His life spirit was the guardian divine weapon of the heavenly court, and he began to dig. With a clang, the source-level divine weapon slashed the wall, and a rock shattered. A piece of desolate crystal flew out and was caught by Lu Ming. The rich energy in the desolate crystal made Lu Ming's heart skip a beat. After putting it into the storage ring, Lu Ming continued to use the source-level divine weapon to dig out the second piece of desolate crystal. Qiu also rushed over to help. The two of them worked together and soon obtained dozens of desolate crystals. Chapter 4575. With the two of them working together, they quickly obtained dozens of desolate crystals. Unfortunately, They couldn't fly within the ancestral mountain. Lu Ming could only jump into the air and knock down a piece with his soul-grade weapon. Then he would fall to the ground. Naturally, he wouldn't be able to move much faster. Quick, quick. Lu Ming continued to attack. He had to get these desolate crystals as quickly as possible. Once the celestial race charged in, it wouldn't be so easy to get them. A moment later, Lu Ming and Chocho had obtained over 500 desolate crystals. That was a huge harvest. But at this moment, rumbling came from the mountain. The celestial race's people were about to break through the mountain. Lu Ming and Chocho went all out. They kept jumping and digging out pieces of primordial crystals. In the blink of an eye, they obtained over 100 desolate crystals. But, boom! With a loud sound, crushed rocks flew everywhere. Smoke and dust filled the air. The mountain peak was penetrated. Lu Ming was startled. He and Chocho stopped digging for desolate crystals, preparing to retreat at any moment. After all, the celestial race had a 7th-level divine master like Yeling Tianshou. They definitely wouldn't be able to deal with him. But after waiting for a few seconds, they didn't see the celestial race enter. It seems the celestial race is hesitating. Chocho, let's continue. Increase our speed. Lu Ming transmitted to Chocho. The two of them charged out once more, continuing to dig for desolate crystals. But this time, when they attacked, they used energy to form a barrier to block out the sound, preventing the celestial race's people from hearing them. At this time, the celestial race's people truly were hesitating. After piercing through the mountain, the celestial race's people quickly retreated, as if they were facing a great enemy. After all, this was the ancestral mountain, something left behind from the previous epoch. They didn't dare lower their guard. "Young Master Tianshou, do you want to go in and take a look?" asked one of the celestial race's people. Yeling Tianshou's eyes flickered. "You guys, go in and take a look. Quickly report to me if there's anything." Yeling Tianshou still decided to let the others check it out first. If there was no danger, it wouldn't be too late for him to go in. If there was danger, it would be the others who would die, and it wouldn't affect him. The Celestials sighed in their hearts. Although they were unwilling, they knew that they had to do it even if they didn't want to. Their lives and deaths were all in the hands of Yeling Tianshou. Yes. The heavenly human tribe cultivators accepted the order and then walked toward the cave that had been pierced through. There was a total of 4 people, and one of them was a 5th-level divine master. The 4 of them were very cautious. Their attention was highly focused, and they were prepared to fight at any moment. Moreover, they had restrained their auras to the extreme, and silently walked inside. Their speed was not fast, and it took them quite a while to pass through the tunnel and reach the canyon between the 2 mountain ranges. As soon as they appeared, they saw Lu Ming and Chocho working hard to excavate chaos crystals. "You're Yi Chuyu, you're not dead." That 5th-layer divine master expert let out an incredulous roar when he saw Lu Ming. Lu Ming was not using his original appearance at the moment. He had been using the great imitation art to transform into Yi Chuyu's appearance. When the Celestials saw Lu Ming, they thought that Lu Ming was not dead. "Nestle, you came in just like that. Why was there no sound at all?" Lu Ming cursed in his heart. However, he was relieved that he did not see Yeling Tianshou. As long as Yeling Tianshou had not come in, there would be no problem. Lu Ming could not be bothered with the Celestials. He continued to excavate the chaos crystals on the wall with Chocho. "Great Desolate Crystal, it's the Great Desolate Crystal. So many chaos crystals." The other Celestials cried out. "Yi Chuyu, how dare you eat Lord Tianshou's Ice Fire Star Silver and dig for chaos crystals here? Do you know that this is a capital offense?" "Wait, how did you come in?" the 5th-layer divine master roared. When he came to his senses, he was dumbfounded. They had been guarding outside and did not see Yi Chuyu come in at all. How did Yi Chuyu come in? From the potholes on the wall, they could see that Lu Ming had been here for a while and had already dug out many chaos crystals. They could not figure it out. Lu Ming could not be bothered with them. He continued to excavate the chaos crystals quickly. At this time, he and Chocho had already dug out 800 chaos crystals. This was definitely a great harvest. Lu Ming's heart was burning. There were still several hundred chaos crystals left. Lu Ming wanted to dig them all out. Attack, capture Yi Chuyu and hand him over to Lord Tianshou for interrogation, the fifth-layer Divine Master roared. Swish. A third-layer Divine Master of the celestial race charged toward Lu Ming like a bolt of lightning. They were well aware of Yi Chuyu's strength and cultivation. He was only a second-layer Divine Master. A third-layer Divine Master could easily suppress him. Yi Chuyu, kneel down and beg for forgiveness from Lord Tianshou. That third-tier Divine Master expert bellowed. His combat sword became incomparably huge, pressing down on Lu Ming. You're seeking death. Lu Ming's eyes chilled. The war god spear appeared and stabbed at this person. Clang. The two divine weapons clashed, and the celestial race divine weapon exploded. The war god spear did not stop, stabbing into the third-layer Divine Master of the celestial race. Violent destructive energy not only pierced through this person's body, but it also tore it apart, killing him on the spot. Lu Ming had used almost all his strength in this spear attack, except for a few trump cards. Instantly killing a third-layer Divine Master of the celestial race was child's play. The other celestial race experts were all stunned, staring at Lu Ming in disbelief. How could Yi Chuyu possibly kill a third-layer Divine Master expert with a single strike? No, you're only a first-layer Divine Master. You're not Yi Chuyu. Just who are you? The fifth-layer Divine Master roared as he finally reacted. As soon as Lu Ming struck, his first-level Divine Master cultivation was naturally revealed. Furthermore, the power that Lu Ming used was not the power of heaven. Therefore, the Yi Chuyu in front of him was not Yi Chuyu at all. Little ball, let's go. After killing a third-level Divine Master, Lu Ming stopped digging for the Primeval crystals. Together with Chocho, he dashed to the side. That was where they had just entered. You want to leave? Stay. The fifth-layer Divine Master roared, his body leaping up like an ape as he charged at Lu Ming. Violent waves of energy swept toward Lu Ming. Heaven sundering. Lu Ming roared as he used the heaven sundering style, thrusting out several thousand spear lights. Thousands of spear lights, densely packed, were like a shield, blocking in front of him. But when his opponent's energy swept over, these several thousand spear lights were instantly shattered. A mere first-layer Divine Master wants to stop me? You overestimate yourself. I'll cripple you. The fifth-level Divine Master Heavenly Human snorted coldly. His 5 fingers formed into claws, grabbing toward Lu Ming. Chapter 4576. The celestial race fifth-tier god Lord clawed at Lu Ming. His claw rapidly enlarged, covered in the power of heavenly punishment, engulfing Lu Ming. This terrifying power made Lu Ming's pupils constrict and his muscles tense up. The forbidden energy in his body was pushed to its limit. He had long ago activated the battle character art to increase his fighting strength by 8 times, pushing it to its peak. Swish. The war god spear in his hand transformed into a ray of light and flew toward his opponent's claw. At the same time, he quickly formed a seal with his hands, using the primitive desolate style. A continent appeared above Lu Ming's head and charged upward. Clang. The war god spear was the first to be struck, fiercely clashing with the claw, and then it was sent flying back. The claw didn't stop, continuing to claw down at the primitive desolate continent. The primitive desolate continent fiercely shuddered and then exploded from the impact. Lu Ming's body shuddered as he retreated, vomiting blood. A fifth-tier god lord is truly powerful. He's not someone I can fight against. Lu Ming had a grave expression. His opponent had definitely not used his full strength in that attack, but it was no longer something that Lu Ming could fight against. Even if he used his origin energy and used his strongest attack, he would still be no match for his opponent. Lu Ming was shocked, but he did not know that the other party was even more shocked. He had used 70% of his strength in that attack. It had to be known that he was a fifth-tier god lord. Even 70% of his strength was enough to easily suppress a fourth-tier god lord expert. But Lu Ming was only a first-tier god lord, yet he had only been lightly injured after blocking his attack. This was simply inconceivable. How could such a monstrous genius exist in this world? Kill. The fifth-tier divine master of the heavenly human tribe wanted to kill Lu Ming. With a roar, a battle sword appeared in his hand. Sword gleams pierced through the air, bursting forth with dozens of sword qis, slashing toward Lu Ming. The terrifying howling of sword qi made Lu Ming feel a terrible sense of danger. He couldn't take it head-on. He couldn't take this attack head-on, or else he would end up in a miserable state. Swish. Lu Ming transformed into a spear gleam and dashed toward the rear. Want to leave? You won't be able to leave in my hands. His opponent coldly shouted, and the sword qi suddenly accelerated, instantly approaching Lu Ming. Not good. Lu Ming's expression. Let me slay him. Cho handed it over and flew out. Its body quickly wriggled and actually turned into a halberd, emitting a terrifying aura. The Cho's uses origin weapon was a broken halberd. Cho's is gods. The huge halberd slashed out horizontally, shrouding Lu Ming in dozens of sword auras. Chong dang, the sword aura and the battle halberd collided continuously. In the end, the battle halberd was sent flying. However, there were only a few sword auras left. Lu Ming waved the war god spear and blocked the last few sword auras. Cho is so strong. Cho. To be honest, Cho's strength had exceeded his expectations. Cho had just transformed into a halberd, and it had actually erupted with a shred of the might of a source-level divine weapon. Its might was astonishing, and it could definitely kill a fourth-level divine master. It must be known that Cho's cultivation was only at the peak of the second level of the Divine Lord realm, but it could kill a fourth-level Divine Lord. Such battle prowess was rare even in the entire desolate universe. It was incredibly difficult for a Divine Lord to fight someone one level above them, let alone kill someone 2 levels above them. There were only a few in the entire primitive universe. Evidently, Cho's battle prowess was definitely related to the fact that it had devoured several damaged source-level divine weapons. Lu Ming decided that if he had the chance, he would definitely find a few more damaged source-grade divine weapons for Cho to swallow. If it really didn't work out, he wouldn't hesitate to give Cho an intact source-grade divine weapon. Right, that armor. Lu Ming thought of the armor he got from Yi Chu Tianji. It was a source-level divine weapon, but it was pierced through by his war god spear. If Cho ate it, wouldn't Cho possess the defensive power of a source-grade divine weapon? Would it even need to be repaired? Lu Ming decided that once Cho finished refining the damaged divine weapon in its body, he would give the armor to Cho. This is a metallic life form. Very good, this metallic life form will be mine. The celestial race 5th-level divine lord expert looked at Cho, his eyes gleaming with greed. For a metallic lifeform to possess such terrifying battle prowess and even exude the aura of a source-grade divine weapon was simply inconceivable and unheard of. His greed was aroused and he wanted to take it for himself. Boundless sword light, heavenly punishment in the sky. The celestial race 5th-level divine lord expert became serious, his aura erupting as his sword soared into the sky. Heavenly punishment energy filled the air, exuding a terrifying sword might. He was pushing his strength to the limit. Just a bluff. Watch me. Lu Ming seized the opportunity to attack. Cho messaged Lu Ming, and then its body rapidly transformed into a mirror. It was another source-grade divine weapon, and it exuded a faint aura of one. The mirror shone, and a pillar of light suddenly shot out. The pillar of light rapidly expanded, filling the sky with radiance and enveloping the entire canyon. The celestial race experts were naturally enveloped in this radiance as well. Kill. The moment they were enveloped by this radiance, the weaker celestial race experts actually began to roar and charge at each other. They were actually killing each other. The 5th-level divine lord expert was also confused, a look of struggle appearing on his face. Lu Ming, this light of mine can make people fall into an illusion. Hurry up and kill that guy. He's too strong, and the illusion won't affect him for long. Cho's voice rang out in Lu Ming's mind. He was completely stunned. He hadn't expected that Chocho would be able to create an illusion after turning into a mirror that could make people lose themselves in it. This ability was definitely powerful and could be of great use at a critical moment. Just like this moment. Ignoring the shock in his heart, Lu Ming pushed his strength to the limit, and his body turned into spear light. He wanted to use his strongest move to kill that 5th-level Divine Lord Celestial Race Expert. But at this moment, the mountain that had been pierced by the Celestial Race Expert released a terrifying aura. It was as if an incomparably terrifying colossus was rapidly charging over. Boom! The moment that aura entered the canyon, Chocho's illusion collapsed. Not good. It's yelling Tianshou. Chocho, let's go. Lu Ming roared, grabbed Chocho, and charged toward the entrance they had come from. Although he still had a chance to attack just now, he still had a chance to kill that 5th-level Divine Lord Celestial Race Expert. However, Yelling Tianshou had already rushed in quickly. Once there was a slight delay and Yelling Tianshou arrived, both Lu Ming and Chocho would definitely die. You're tuning in to the Celestial War YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.